What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Charter Podcast, brought to you by St. Xavier University. I'm Ruthie Polinsky, back alongside Clay Harbor in his turtleneck.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, getting ready.
Looks like we're going to different parties, you know? Like, if we were...
I haven't changed yet for a big pro football show, but I will. No, but I gotta rep the Bulls.
It's like retro Bulls look. It's like fashionable, and then I'm just like, I'm going to a business meeting or something. I don't know.
You got your rock. You got your rock Halloween costume on underneath.
Wait till you see what I wear tomorrow.
Oh boy,
you won't be there, but
I won't be there. I'll be on Bulls, which will be so exciting.
Some photos of
Speaking of, can we just talk for a second? I know you were watching the Bulls game last night. Holy cow!
Fun team.
I mean, how freaking awesome is it? They're 4-0. It's such an exciting style of play. They're all playing well.
They move the ball so fast. Like Josh Giddey getting to the hole, moving the ball. He can drive and dish. Matas is hitting threes. He's driving. He's so athletic and lengthy. Even Io's coming in, getting buckets. Trey Jones.
Like dunks are so fun. Matas. Oh my God. It's just such an exciting style of play. Io clutch.
Yeah, Vooch moving the ball. One of the best passing big men in the league.
So fun.
Wait, this is a Bears podcast.
Oh, right. Should we talk football?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Ugh, I guess we should. No, I'm just kidding. We love football. Big week, Clay. I was up at House Hall yesterday, and for the first time in a long time, on a Wednesday where Caleb Williams speaks, he was not the biggest story of the day. The biggest story of the day was that the Bears have signed CJ Gardner-Johnson, who is told us that he wants to go by CD.
So like, just
should we call him CD today?
Yeah, well, let's call him CD. So like CD or like
C. He said he spelled it for us. He said CEEDY, CD.
Okay,
like
CD.
CD Lamb, but like
CD Lamb. Yeah, it's different. CD. But CD.
Yeah.
CD. Okay, CD Johnson. CD Gardner Johnson.
Let's just call him CD.
CD.
If you call him CJ, we won't get mad.
Yeah.
Okay. Just for the purpose of this podcast.
Yeah.
And for our friends who are listening at home.
Yeah.
Obviously, Clay, the Bears coming off of their first loss in a while, losing to the Ravens. We don't need to get too deep into that because I feel like there's so much that's already been said on our show and elsewhere. But what we do know is that not only does the Bears offense need to improve, but the defense has found out that it's hard to win ball games when they don't take the ball away.
Yeah.
And hopefully some reinforcement in the secondary can help out. And listen, CD has a reputation. We won't shy away from it. He's got history with the Chicago Bears. And he didn't shy away from it yesterday. In fact, I guess he didn't shy away from it, but he just sort of said like, hey, I'm here. This is a fresh start. I can bring some juice and some fire to this locker room. And that's sort of been the message from not just Ben Johnson, but also his former defensive coordinator, now current defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, who was in New Orleans when they drafted CD. Now I'm going to keep calling him CD Lamb. No, it's not CD Lamb. CJ Gardner-Johnson. And I think for all intents and purposes, Clay, like from a broad zoom out picture, this is a really good player who was on the street, who just came off a Super Bowl. We understand that it's his fourth team in the calendar here, but there's a lot of sort of unknown about what happened in those places. And it wasn't a match. The Bears feel like this is a match now, and it's a very low risk opportunity.
Absolutely. I like the move a lot. I think that if it doesn't work out, if there's some off the field issues, if there's something in the locker room that doesn't quite fit, guess what? You can cut them.
Right.
You can cut them. I'm sorry, CD, if you get cut, but if you don't fit, you don't fit. Right? If there's some issues there, there's some issues there. What did you give up? It's like when you're investing something, if you cut your investment, usually you lose something you invested in. There's no investment here.
Yeah.
The investment is just one of the 53 men on the roster. So you are minimally invested. This is a boom or bust pick, but if it busts, you're not losing anything. And let's look. I mean, we talked about last year, this guy had 6 interceptions for the world champion Philadelphia Eagles. This guy, when he was with Dennis Allen, he had Dennis Allen in 3 years, blitzed him 83 times. He had 18 pressures, 3 sacks, and a forced fumble. So this guy is a guy that is similar to Kyler Gordon. When I watch his tape, he's very physical. He loves to play against the run. He will hit you. He can guard. He can cover a receiver. He can cover in the slot, obviously. Can cover a tight end because he's physical enough to do that. So on the field, there's no issues there. I don't see any glaring issues. I covered the Eagles last year for some of the stations out there.
Yeah.
Got to watch a little bit of Philadelphia Eagles football.
Yeah.
And he was a guy that was good. I mean, look at his numbers. 6 interceptions, 60 tackles, 12 pass deflections, a forced fumbles, a TF and a TFL, and he's only 27.
It's crazy. So I think I read this somewhere. Correct me if I'm wrong. But basically, when the Eagles
They traded him.
Yes. They traded him to Houston.
They traded him to Houston. They needed offensive line help. And here's the reason I think they traded him, which nobody wants to talk about. Well, yes. Okay, if you're coming into a locker room and you have a guy that you maybe think may affect the culture, the Eagles during that Super Bowl run had Darius Slay, had James Bradbury, you had Brandon Graham, you had Sweat, you had Josh Sweat, you had Milton Williams, you had such a veteran defense. Guess what? All those players left. Slay's gone. Bradbury's gone. Brandon Graham's gone. Now he's back. Milton Williams gone. Josh Sweat's gone. All those veteran players were gone. Their defense was really young. So they wanted to give some guys a shot. And you see Cooper DeJean is now their nickel back, and that's the guy that they gave that position to. And I think, too, it's not like they just gave him away to trade him away for nothing. They picked a guy with the second pick in the draft who ended up being one of the best players in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you could thank the Bears because that pick firstly came from the Bears, and then it went to the Eagles. So there was that as well. So there was reason for them to do that. Now, obviously, him getting cut from the Houston Texans after that trade is something that, is a little bit concerning, but, you don't fit everywhere. So I still think this is a guy that can play.
I was going to say this. The Eagles signed Gardner-Johnson to a 3-year, $27 million contract, entering training camp slated as the de facto starting strong safety under defensive coordinator Vic Fangio following the departure of Kevin Byard.
Yeah.
So how about that? That's a little connection there, because the way Kevin Byard talked about 𝗵cie yesterday was that they obviously knew a lot of the same people but they never, played together necessarily. And what I think I loved about Kevin Byard, obviously when Ben Johnson talked about, hey, we have a foundation in our locker room and we have strong leaders in our locker room that we feel like we have a support system to maybe get the most out of 𝗵cie Gardner-Johnson and or be able to sort of buffer any conflict or whatever may happen there. That to me is what I took away from that. Then with Kevin Byard talking about it, he's like, listen, I sort of like what he brings. Like he drew to like a Dennis Rodman character. Sometimes you need that fire. You need that juice. And Clay, that was sort of my first reaction when I heard about the trade. I was listening to the 𝗵cie and show, shout out. And I think David Haw, our colleague, and he was on our show as well, a little concerned about bringing in someone that has this reputation. To me, Clay, I sort of like it. Like,
yeah, it brings you an attitude.
That's what Dennis Rodman. That's what Dennis Allen said today. He brings an attitude.
Yeah.
Kevin Byard said he was out there making plays, bringing fire, bringing juice. He took
swagger.
every snap in practice yesterday. This is someone that's going to impact the way you play immediately. And obviously, I think the Bears make this move out of desperation with Kyler Gordon on injured reserve, Tyreek Stevenson on his way back, but still kind of TBD about what happens this weekend, and obviously Jalen Johnson gone. So when you bring in someone like that, here's what I say, Clay, and I'm in this locker room at least once a week talking to these guys. Let me tell you something. There are a lot of nice guys in that locker room. And I love that.
Yeah.
That's what Ryan Poles wants. That's what George McCaskey wants. He wants a lot of nice guys there that are going to be good leaders, good people. That's great. And I'm not saying that's not what 𝗵cie Gardner-Johnson is. But sometimes when you bring in a little attitude or you bring in a little personality, like that can fire up some guys.
Yeah.
And I after the way that the Bears played last weekend, which just felt flat in a lot of ways, offensively and defensively, like I like that there's a little bit of a shakeup in that locker room.
No, you're absolutely right. I don't mind it at all. Like I said, he comes in there, he has a little bit of an attitude. I think he realizes that, hey, I was on the street before this. Guess what? If I don't clean my act up with everything I'm doing, the antics, whatever's getting me cut here. I know I can play football. This is probably one of my last chances. You're 27. Yeah, you've made some good coin, but you know, you want to make this your career. You think you probably got 4 good years left. You're 27 years old, realizes this is a great opportunity with the coach you've played with before, head coach and defensive coordinator, which means something for them to bring him back. That means they know the guy, they trusted him. They know his personality a little bit. They know people that he knows. So this is a good opportunity for him. And I think he's going to understand that. Yeah.
This is one of my favorite quotes from yesterday too, talking about what he learned from being on that world champion Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl
Fly,
team.
Eagles, fly, baby.
Fly, Eagles, fly. This is what he said. He said, let me find it here. Just a second. I have it in my notes. Basically talking about, I want to help win. I won a Super Bowl last year. Sometimes it's not about being the star of the team. Sometimes it's about being the guy that gets things done the right way and helping guys get things done the right way. Being on a Super Bowl team last year, you see how guys go about things, being able to adapt to the things going on and just teaching, being a student of the game. So like, I think there's been a little bit of self-discovery. I think, and he was asked, he's like, you know, why did you want to come to the Bears? Why do you want to be a guy that can help this team win? And he's like, this team was winning. Like I think he understands his role. I think he understands that he's here to fill a missing piece in the time being. And if he can prove himself and figure out, you know, different ways to be used potentially in the next couple of weeks, maybe when Kyler Gordon comes back, this is someone that sticks around. If not, no harm done. You got Kyler Gordon. Yeah. I wanted to ask you this, Clay.
Yeah.
With Kyler Gordon going on injured reserve with another soft tissue injury, do you think anything about this move of signing a good player like CJ Gardner-Johnson, does that put any sort of pressure on a player who has, you know, had some injury issues, especially when it comes to soft tissue, which I know you've talked about, you know?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Kyler Gordon's already got paid.
Right.
And, you know, his worries aren't that.
And he's on injured reserve, out at least 4 weeks.
He's out at least 4 weeks.
Yeah.
If CD comes out and he just like completely balls out, like, I mean, it might light a little bit of a fire under you, but the
maybe
fact
you could
that
put Kyler Gordon on the outside then.
Yeah, maybe
right?
you can
like
move
maybe
Kyler.
This adds a versatility piece.
Yeah, or if one of your safeties go down, I mean, he adds depth.
Yeah.
There. Only thing is, like, would he be okay when Kyler comes back and say your safeties are healthy? Because he can play either safety too.
Yeah.
That's how versatile this guy is. But is he okay with if his package is special teams? You know, if that's what his role is. So that's something you need to find out. But he's got a 4-game audition to show, hey, I can still play slot in this league. I can play. Yeah, I can guard these nickel backs. I can stop the run still. I can do all these things. I know this system. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does, because I think he's a guy that's going to play right away, though.
For sure. He was asked yesterday, like, you know, are you going to be ready for Sunday? He was like, I'll see you Sunday. And we're like, okay, swag. Like, he just got a little swag to him, which I kind of like.
Yeah, I'll see you Sunday.
I'll see you Sunday.
18 career interceptions. I'm just reading some of my... Yeah, like 6 last year. I mean, this guy's
a good player.
He's a good player, man. He's done it with different teams. He's won a Super Bowl. Like, this guy can play.
So that's exciting. Again, I think 3 years ago, maybe the Bears wouldn't have had the foundation to bring in a guy like this. But I do feel like because of the culture Ben Johnson's built, because of the players that give Ryan Poles some credit, because of some of the guys that he's brought in, i.e. a Kevin Byard, a Grady Jarrett, like, this is somebody that's going to be surrounded by guys that are just doing things the right way. Yeah. And it's a good situation. It's a good environment for him to be in. And it sounds like he got in there early Tuesday morning, stayed late Tuesday night, got in early Wednesday morning, and then he took every rep at practice.
You better.
So there you go. I mean, this guy's going to be ready to go. And obviously his comfort and familiarity with Dennis Allen's system will play a big part in that as well. Let's talk about some other things, because he's not the only player that will be playing this weekend in Cincinnati. However, he does have a little bit of a history with Ja'Marr Chase, which is good, right?
Yeah.
Get Ja'Marr Chase a little angry.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Definitely.
Maybe Ja'Marr Chase will throw a punch. No, I'm just teasing.
I don't think he would.
No, he won't. Let's talk about this matchup, Clay. Obviously, we're on Joe Flacco watch after being on Lamar Jackson watch last week. last I saw, Joe Flacco was in full pads getting ready for practice today. So
really?
Yeah. So
yeah, we didn't get an injury report for the Bears yet today, did we?
Not yet.
Okay.
But we will. And we don't have one for Cincinnati yet either.
Okay.
I imagine, Clay, if Joe Flacco had this injury last week and played through it, like he's going to go out there and try and play through it again.
My thoughts as well.
So let's just work under the assumption that it's Joe Flacco, because Jake Browning makes it a different game, bottom line. If it's Joe Flacco out there, how do the Bears slow down the Bengals offense before we get into their defense?
I think you need to get pressure from your defensive line, which has been one of the worst defensive lines in the NFL as far as pressure is concerned. I think that with a guy like Joe Flacco, the interior pressure this is a week you want to see that versatility. You hear him talking, DA talking about, we liked Dio today because we thought he could get some pressure from the inside. Well, he hasn't got pressure from the inside or the outside. So let's see Dio get some pressure from the inside then.
Yeah, that feels like
Javon Dexter, Grady Jarrett, get pressure from the inside, because a guy like Joe Flacco just can't move like some of these younger players, right? So you need to pressure him, because if you give him time, he's going to pick you apart. He's going to make some plays. He's obviously throwing the ball a lot to Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins and Noah Fant. And the thing you don't realize, though, is
they're running the ball well.
They are running the football. The last two games, they had 181 yards last week. The week before, they had 141 yards on the ground. So the last couple of weeks, ever since Joe Flacco took the reins, teams haven't been able to stop the run. So then they move down to one high safety, and then he starts throwing the ball to Ja'Marr Chase every play.
Yeah.
If they drop back to two deep safeties, then they start running the ball. So it's a tough defense to stop. And the Bears defense, they haven't been great at allowing, against the pass or the run. Of late, they've been better against the run, but against the pass, they're 30th in completion percentage, over 72%, 29th in yards per pass attempt, 30th in passing TDs allowed. So through the air, Flacco, Chase, Higgins, you got to get better. Hopefully Tyreek will be back. I'm not sure if you got any indication there. I heard he was limited.
Yeah, I was happy to see he was limited, because I didn't see him when we were out there at the beginning. Yeah. So that's good news.
So hopefully they can get Tyreek back.
Totally. And
then maybe you bring in CJ Gardner-Johnson and he can help you out. But I think it's going to be tough. I think this is going to be one of those games where you have to score more points than the other team.
Definitely. And so that brings us to the Bears offense, which, oh boy, there's a lot of room to grow there, Clay. And I know you went back, watched the tape, you watched the All-22, and you felt like Caleb Williams wasn't as bad as maybe it felt on game day. With that being said, he needs to be better.
Yes.
And you have to score in the red zone.
Yes.
And you have to stop with the penalties.
This is a huge week, because after week one, the Bengals have given up at least 27 points in every single game they've played. Last week, Tanner Engstrand, he was Ben Johnson's underling last year with the Detroit Lions. And guess what? Justin Fields, the guy that got traded for Caleb Williams, put up 39 points on this defense in 3 quarters. And the funny part about that is they put 39 points in 3 quarters on the Bengals, and they didn't score a TD in 9 straight quarters. So that's how bad they've been until those last 3 quarters when they're able to do that. So that shows you the Bengals defense should be ripe for picking. There should be holes there. Trey Hendrickson looks like he's not playing. Their pass rush is a debacle.
Yeah.
They can't stop the run. They're not good against the pass. There is nothing this defense does well. Their linebackers, I'm watching the film, are some of the worst linebackers in coverage. I always watch film like a tight end.
Yeah.
How these linebackers covering. Colson Loveland should have a big game. I said that last week, but
and Cole Kmet's optimistic he'll be back.
Cole Kmet's back. So I'm hoping the middle of this field with these coverage guys, these linebackers, they're bad.
Yeah.
So we can take advantage of that. Big opportunity.
Yeah. And DeAndre Swift also was a non-participant in practice yesterday, along with 4 of the Bears' top wide receivers.
Ja'Day Walker, breakout game?
Honestly, I would love to see it. Ja'Day Walker, Clay, you saw him at training camp. No one brings more juice it's like him and CJ Gardner-Johnson. Like they are the juice guys.
I like his little dance too, his celebration he did after that touchdown in the preseason.
What do you do?
Where he was like doing that run, like skip thing after he like scored. You don't know that celebration?
I gotta look it up.
All right.
That's great.
We'll have Edgar look it up after the show.
He's just one of those guys. You're like, looks like a kid on the playground at recess.
Oh, he's having fun.
Like he's having the best time. So that would be fun. I honestly think what we're learning about this coaching staff a little bit right now is Wednesdays sometimes are sort of maintenance days. And like, you don't need a DJ Moore out there on a Wednesday anymore. Like DJ Moore is going to do his job. So
Yeah.
I'm optimistic DJ will be okay. You know, that guy's tough as nails. Rome Odunze popped up with an injury. He didn't practice yesterday. We'll see what this designation was today. 𝗻𝗓 𝗬𝗂 and Luther Burden III also did not participate on Wednesday.
That's tough.
Luther Burden with a concussion, so you imagine he'll be out at least this week anyway.
For a pass game that needs help, like Wednesdays are big. So on Wednesdays, you put in your base package. I mean, that's important. You want to start getting the timing down. You want Rome out there. You want DJ out there. You want these Luther out there so you can start getting the timing down. And for them to be missing practice with obviously a younger quarterback, that's tough.
Hurts.
And that's something you don't want. But hopefully they can get back on the field today and Friday and feel good about going to this game on Sunday in Cincinnati.
So, Clay, I know you'll do Clay's Corner on the Big Pro Football Show, but do you have any like keys to victory for the Bears here?
Yeah, I can put out some keys real fast. One will be, let's be better in the red zone.
Yeah.
You know, since their win against the Cowboys, the Bears are 5 of 16, 31% in the red zone, and 4 of 8, 50% when it's goal to go in scoring touchdowns. You got to score in the red zone. Think how different that game is last week. Even if it's 10-0, they score, so what? We're still winning. We're playing ahead. It's just, you got to get the ball in the end zone. And looking at the tape, there's some of it's calls, some of it's execution, some of it's Caleb maybe not making a play here or there, and it's not one person. People are taking turns. There's penalties in the red zone, just stuff you really don't want to see. And according to True Media, Chicago's offensive EPA in the red zone ranks 28th in the National Football League. And they've been flagged too often inside of the opponent's 20. Their 7 penalties are tied for the most in the league. They're tied for the most penalties in the league in the red zone. That would drive me crazy if I'm a coach. We get in the red zone, now we're getting flagged, and now we're behind the sticks.
How about if you're a quarterback?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's, and I think that's sort of been the messaging this week from outside media is like, it feels as though there's been a designation to Caleb Williams of, hey, have more control in the huddle, make your demands. Let's line up here. Let's make sure you're not 1 yard behind the line, too far behind the center's helmet, whatever.
Yeah.
Like no false starts, no twitching here. Like just be more in command maybe. And I think that's sort of been maybe when Ben Johnson says, hey, I'm putting this on the leaders in my locker room to get this cleaned up. Like to me, that was looking at, obviously on defense and special teams, they have their guys. But to me, that's Caleb Williams on offense.
Yeah. And Ben Johnson knows how to call red zone. Last year, his Detroit Lions were 3rd in the National Football League in red zone touchdown percentage and 2nd in goal to go situations.
Yeah.
So this guy was the top of the line in designing red zone offense. He didn't just forget how to call red zone.
Right.
So this guy he has a track record proven that he knows how to get the ball in the end zone. He can look at a red zone defense. He can find the hole, see where he needs to run it. So for me, this is like an execution thing.
Yeah.
You need everybody on the same page. You need to stop at the penalties. You need to execute the plan that Ben's putting in there. He has proven that he's a guy that can put the ball in the end zone in the red zone. Mm-hmm. So now the Bears need to go out there and execute, and I think they'll do it. I think they're, like Ben said. He said, our best football is going to be November, December this season. We're not a finished product, and I really do still believe that.
I do too.
They're 4-3, and I think their best football is still ahead of them this year.
Let me ask you this. Ready for a hot take?
Dun, dun, dun.
Is this a must win?
I wouldn't say it's a must win, but I mean, if you're thinking about the playoffs, I mean, it's very important just knowing the teams that are on the end of that schedule. Your last 5 games, I mean, you got the Packers twice, you got the Lions, you got the 49ers, the Steelers are in there. I mean, you got some tough games. So if you want a chance to be there, yes, this is an important game. I'm not saying it's a must win. You could lose today and, pull off a, couple wins moving forward, but it's a game that's very important. Definitely very important.
I think it's a must win. I think you got to win this game. If you want to go to the playoffs, if you want to be in contention for the playoffs, you have to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And you need to see all of those things cleaned up. And this shouldn't be a hard game to win.
Don't lose to the Ravens and the Bengals back-to-back weeks without Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. Okay, this isn't the Ravens and the Bengals with Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Okay?
That's how I feel.
So you can't lose to these guys with backup quarterbacks. So
it's a must win. Thank you.
Yeah, it's important.
You for agreeing.
If it's Joe Burrow, I don't if I'm a player and we're playing against Joe Burrow and we go out there and we play him tough, we give up a few big plays, it's Burrow, Chase, and, you kind of hold your head high. It's like, hey, that was a good team. That's a great quarterback. Just like if you lose to Lamar Jackson, that guy's the best player in the world for a reason. Yeah. If I go in there and I lose to the third string quarterback that just called up from the practice squad, then the next week I come and lose to the 42-year-old man that needs a shot in his shoulder to throw the football, getting wheeled out there. He's been here for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Then I'm like, man, you start to question yourself as a team. Can our defense do anything? Can we not move the ball against these substandard defenses? Look at the numbers that we saw. And as a team, you'll put up their numbers. This is what they're giving up. This is where we attack them. And obviously you start seeing what these other teams are able to do to them. And then you come out there and you play them and you get held to 16 points when they're giving up 32. Then this week, there's no team giving up more yards. They're giving up over 400 yards per game, the Cincinnati Bengals. You better be able to do some things against this defense. Right. It matters who you're playing against,
Score touchdowns.
If we're going up against the 85 Bears, old school Ravens, you know who you're playing against. Yeah. And you're like, okay, that was a tough team. That was a tough game. Players aren't dumb. They know who they're playing against. And yes, everybody's in the NFL, but you know who you should be able to move the ball against. And if you can't do it, it's very disheartening.
Definitely. Well, Clay, this was fun. A little quickie episode for us here. I know you have your PFW to go shoot, and we got our show from the casino tonight.
Do a little gambling out there?
A little slot machine?
Yeah, maybe a little blackjack?
Yeah, maybe. No, probably not.
Maybe no. Maybe
Clay
poker?
Harbor, great stuff. We're allowed to play poker. That's the bottom line here. Some people are not. Clay Harbor, I'm Ruthie Polinsky. Thank you so much for watching, listening to the Charter Podcast brought to you by St. Xavier University. Oh, do you want to give a game pick?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Real quick, go. I'm not giving a score yet, but
I'm going Bears.
Bears gotta win.
I'm going Bears.
Okay, we're
unanimous. You got to go Bears.
Bears are going to win. Yeah. They got to win. It's a must win.
Got to win this one, man.
Clay Harbor, great stuff, as
Good
always,
stuff.
my friend.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening and watching. We'll see you next week.